Welcome all to the Fantasy Shotcallers.
Welcome to Sloppy Sundaze, people. We are live. We are in the house. We are getting extra sloppy. Look at this Sunday. Look at it. Look at it. Woo! You know it. How we do. Get it in. Let's go. So week one in the books. Well, not in the books. We still got Monday Night Football. But with that being said, we had, in my opinion, probably the best week one we've had in years. Overtime games. There was a tie. There was, fantasy greatness. There was fantasy shittiness. There's sloppy all over. Comebacks up the fucking wazoo.
Horrible. My horrible team won. And so, yeah. The Giants
My horrible
won.
Shit. I called it. My buddy who's a Giants fan, he walked out and I was like, he could miss it. And he fucking missed it. He missed it.
Unbelievable. I'm a Commander fan, so I was rooting against the Giants. Goddamn guy. I should kick the next one.
Well, unlike last year, every team in the NFC East has a W except for the Cowboys. Sorry, Corey. Sorry, Kyle. But you are at the bottom right now. It's going to change. It probably will change, but we'll see what happens. We'll get to that in a little bit. Let's start this off with a little action from the early games. Let's see. Let's go. I mean, in my opinion, the game of the week, but my man Dan Campbell cannot buy a win in close games. And it's unbelievable.
Absolutely not. And I'm sorry that I'm not even cutting in and helping you out talking about these things. I'm just popping some cherries over here. And
yeah, me too.
You know how tight that works. So, I mean, I'm trying to pop cherries. I'll eat them as we go. Will you root for Dan Campbell? Because I was watching him in Hard Knocks.
Mm-hmm.
Guy's awesome coach. He got the players. Jamal Williams's. Swift had an amazing game, fantasy-wise. Swift
Holy
was off
shit.
the card. But can't buy a bucket, dude. They kept the Eagles in it. They came back. You thought they had a shot. One of the great games. But you root for Dan Campbell. And again, I hate Philly. So
yeah.
I wasn't happy with that outcome.
It's really tough. And speaking of DeAndre Swift, 15 carries, 144 yards, 1 touchdown, and then through the air, 3 receptions, 31 yards. I mean, it was everything you wanted out of a first-round pick. And if you got him in the early second round, man, kudos to you.
The dude's a stud. The dude's going to be the new Dalvin Cook. I'm just going to
yeah.
I drug, this is just, I love dessert. I'm getting it all over. My wife's going to kill me. But it's worth it. Everybody loves sloppy Sundays.
Everyone.
Do you like Malamars, by the way?
Oh, hell
yeah.
Malamars. Hell yeah. I got Makeshift. I got the best ice cream, by the way, and they should give me a fucking commercial on it. Tillamook ice cream is the best ice cream you can buy. I got the waffle cone swirl. It's crunchy, caramelly, chocolatey. It's vanilla-y. It's everything-y. And then a little whipped cream, marshmallows, maraschino cherries. Let's see. The works. And can't forget about the Reese's peanut butter shell. Got to get the shells with Sundaze.
Oh, my God. You got the softness with the hardness.
Mm-hmm. The crunchiness, the goodness.
That's an orgasm in a bowl.
Dude, I'm so full right now, but I'm going to chow this down. All right. So I think the biggest takeaway is that the Lions have a pretty good fucking offense.
Yes, they do.
And if Jared Goff could step it up a little bit as a QB2 in Superflex, that's super ideal.
Do you have any stock in Goff? Which I probably don't.
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I do. I took
Here?
I took Swami's advice. Yeah, exactly.
Thank God. I got that's God. I love just diving in. I just dive into it. You love it. I dove in just how Washington dove in, coming back against the Jacks. Nothing to brag
That
about.
they did.
The Jacks suck.
But Christian Kirk showed up. We'll get to that in a second, though. Let's finish up Lions Eagles. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Lady Shotcallers first hard on, put in work today. 8 receptions, 64 yards, and a touchdown. DJ Chark, the man formerly known as Jacksonville Jaguar #1 public enemy, 4 receptions, 52 yards, and a TD. TJ Hawkinson is getting back to his TJ Hawkinson things, and yeah, on the Lions side, that's pretty much does it. And then Corey says, though, you got some on the other side too there, Wish.
It's on my shirt. I didn't get anything on the shirt. No, I'm fine. I don't know.
Saving it for later.
Yeah. It's my war paint.
It's fucking war paint. I love it. Jalen Hurts somehow scored 24 points without throwing a touchdown.
That's like Joe Burrow, who had 17 interceptions, but somehow had 20 points. And you're like,
yeah.
Can you imagine if he doesn't throw those?
But ready for this? Miles Sanders scores a touchdown for the first time in over a year. This is one thing that I got so much flack on TikTok about Miles Sanders being a league winner in the mid to late rounds. And starting it off with 13 carries, 96 yards, and 1 touchdown. I mean, that's great. I'm going to temper my expectations throughout the year. But to start it off like that, forget about it. But on the other hand, though, like with that being said, Miles Sanders had a rushing touchdown. Jalen Hurts had a rushing touchdown. Kenneth Gainwell had a rushing touchdown. Boston Scott had a rushing touchdown. So the Eagles running back room is like a box of chocolates. You never know who's going to fuck.
100%. I wanted you to calm your tits before you even said that, but you said what I was about to say. Boston Scott scored, Gainwell scored, Hurts scored, Miles Sanders scored. So I still do not even want to allow Miles Sanders in my living room for dinner. The guy scares me. I feel like he's going to rob me blind in one of my weeks. And, I'm not willing to take the chance. I'm just spitting
It's great.
It's
amazing. We're getting super sloppy. Want some more sloppy? Receiving wise, the truth has been revealed. The truth is here for right now. AJ Brown, 10 receptions, 155 yards. You sprinkle in a touchdown in there, which he had some opportunities to get, but Boston Scott had to run it in for a shitty touchdown.
Garbage.
Which would have just capped that as an over 30 performance. And the fancy French cheese and Dallas Goedert, 3 receptions, 60 yards. And that was all of their receiving offense.
What happened to Devontae Smith? He was silent.
Absolutely.
Did he even have a catch?
No.
Dude, I'm like, I was big on Devontae Smith this week. I'm like, everybody's going to pay attention to A.J. Brown. Mm-hmm. Detroit Lions, I'm not going to believe in their secondary. Devontae Smith, you're almost done already, you fat bastard. You fat motherfucker. I swear to God, I'm rushing through my food, and this guy's, I'm already here. I'm like, dude, how small's that bowl, dude?
Dude, I'm getting ready for Christmas. It's a Christmas cookie bowl.
How much is your serving? Only 4 gallons.
Sir.
Devontae Smith was silent, though, but A.J. Brown stepped up.
He really did. And it was a close game, 38-35. Next on Le Docket, we have, let's see. The Chicago Bears upset the 49ers in Santa Clara. Lady Shot Caller is in the house. Perfect timing. Look at that segue. The Bears.
Of course, it's amazing. Your Bears have destroyed the hopes of any suicide pool. People pick the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
The Bears. That would be a heart attack. Makes a baker's dozen.
Make a baker. Hey Todd, where are those sausages? All right. Breece Hall and a 6 for Elijah Mitchell and a 2nd. Who wins the trade? 2-keeper PPR. Well, with the news about Elijah Mitchell today,
I would like to hold on to Breece Hall.
Yeah.
Coming out of college, the guy is big, strong, fast, good hands. I mean, other than the Bills, who are dominant, the Jets have, like, the Patriots are questionable. Dolphins are good, but, like, not dominant. So Breece Hall, I think, has a brighter future.
For sure. And he would have had a touchdown today, but he dropped it. And Michael Carter would have had a touchdown today, but he dropped it. So it's going to be a two-headed monster. I mean, Corey Davis can only catch the ball when he wants. Garrett Wilson will not get the ball at all for whatever reason, even though he was dead to rights at the line of scrimmage, and he ran for a first down.
Oh, God. I was Get going!
He's having a heart attack. Call 14. Someone.
It's 14 heart attacks. Sorry. But yeah,
but go ahead.
No, go on. I keep Breece Hall.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So on the Bears side, Justin Fields threw for 2 touchdowns, only had 121 yards. And a big story here is Khalil Herbert, 9 carries for 45 yards and a touchdown. I am not happy about that because I've been hyping up David Montgomery for a minute. I still believe, but Lady Shot Caller got it right. She told all of you to bench David Montgomery. I didn't listen. I could have started Michael Carter and got me 17 points. Instead, David Montgomery got me 8. So, Lady Shot Caller, you got to follow her no matter what, okay?
1,000%. And she's part of that Queen's Ransom League, and she's dominating in that as well. So
hell yeah. And so, I mean, the carry-wise, it was David Montgomery heavy, but he averaged a dismal 1.5 yards per carry. The leading wide receiver is Dante Pettis, just because he caught that one catch for 51 yards and a touchdown. David Montgomery, though, had 3 receptions. So I think that's something to note, too. So I did predict that because – so just I'd like to put it in perspective. So with that stat, he was used the most in the passing game out of – like he had the most receptions. And the other guy, your guy, Antonio Gibson, had like 20 points today. Both of them were faded because they were on kick returner special teams. And I'm telling you this, they were teaching them how to catch the ball again. I guarantee you that. I don't care what anyone says.
No, absolutely. I was on the Montgomery train too. I kind of still am.
Me
I'm
too.
not, I'm not going to fade the Montgomery. It's also Lady Shot Caller. I got to call her out too. It is week 1. You have no idea what the fuck's going to happen. Good, bad. You can't just go by week 1. People are going to go to the free agent wire and pick up these, worthless waiver ads because they had one good game in week 1 and they're going to be garbage like Pettis.
Also a big thing, Trey Lance, 164 yards, a touchdown, an interception, no touchdowns. Ran 13 times for 54 yards. Granted, Elijah Mitchell went down, but I think there's some concern here. I mean, Jeff Wilson is not the dude. He carried it for 9 times for an average of 2.5 yards. Elijah Mitchell was averaging 6.8 yards per carry.
Yes.
That is amazing. And I'm so sorry, Flojo, that he went down with an injury because he was looking hot, hot, hot.
And they're going to miss out on Trey Sermon, bitches. I was hyping Trey Sermon last year. Everybody's ripping on me about Trey Sermon. He sucked. But now with everybody on the waiver wire on free agency, there's no running backs out there. So 49ers are probably a little upset that Trey Sermon's got 12 penalties for 99 yards on the 49ers.
It's crazy.
Yeah, the discipline was not there. The conditions of the field was horrible. I think the rain that was at the beginning of game time, you could see when they were running, the puddles were out of control. I think Lance has, don't fade Trey Lance, obviously.
Yeah. Before I answer this, if you're new here, hit that like. It goes further than you think. Hit that subscribe. We do this for y'all. We try to give the best advice possible. And with that being said, will CD still be a good wide receiver, even with his bad start and losing Dak? I have been fading CD since he was being drafted in the second round. So I'm going to leave it up to wish list.
All right. I'm going to tell you right now. I know it's week 1. I just said don't overreact. Look who is interested in CD Lamb in trades, because Dak Prescott's going to be out a couple weeks going through surgery on his hand. So they're going to be playing with Cooper Rush. This fucking guy emptied it. Still have some chocolate in there, dude. You have more chocolate in that bowl than on my face. So let's get that clear. I would actually look at, is anybody interested in CeeDee Lamb and get a feel for that, because Dak is gone for a couple weeks. CeeDee's not going to explode with Cooper Rush. And I would hold on to Schultz because he's going to be checked down.
And he showed that tonight, with Dak, but he was able to get separation against a good Tampa Bay defense.
Yes.
But don't sell CD for too low.
Right.
People are going to try to undercut you, and don't let them do that, because it will happen 100%. But know your worth. Know your worth, king or queen. Know your worth.
CD is going to put up good wide receiver 2 numbers now. He's not going to be a number 1.
Also, panic on James Cook or keep him. So, do you remember who fumbled their first carry in the NFL? I'll give you a hint. He was on the Kansas City Chiefs. No, a few years ago.
Hilaire?
Kareem Hunt. Hilaire too, but Kareem Hunt, his first carry, everyone's like, oh, who the fuck is this dude? And then he just, top 5 running back, multiple years. So I wouldn't panic. It's gonna be a hosh mosh bagosh in Buffalo. But with that being said, I love James Cook. I love it.
Yes. Singletary is playing great. He played great last year. He's playing great the first game this year. It looks like it's his job still. James Cook is the best running back on that team, though. So I would not let James Cook walk.
100%. And so just to finish up, 49ers versus Bears, my guy that I said probably would break out this year had the most receiving yards, had the most receptions today, and that's Jawan Jennings. 4 receptions, 62 yards, no touchdowns. Look at him on the waiver wire a little bit if you're in a deeper league. But with that being said, Brandon Ayuk 2 receptions, Debo 2 receptions. So it was just a shithole pile of shit in Santa Clara.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's jump to your Commanders, because I'm excited to talk about some potential here.
Listen, everybody was bashing Wentz, but you got to talk about, you're a Jet fan. I'm a Washington fan. We don't see good quarterbacks. So Wentz to us is a good quarterback. He made some stupid interceptions, got Jacksonville back in the game, but we finally got a quarterback that literally throws a good deep ball, and he hit McLaurin and he hit Jahan Dotson, who looked tremendous. I know it's week 1. I'm going to calm my tits. But Dotson looked great. Terry McLaurin looked great. But I got to give Wentz credit. I got to pat him on the back. He threw a good deep ball. He was resilient. He didn't stop. And they came back with the win.
Yeah. And, let's see. So John Dotson, 3 receptions, 40 yards, and 2 TDs. Obviously, love him in the end zone. Tight end streamers for week 2. Gerald Everett, end of story. Gerald Everett, go grab him now. Put in that fab. You need him. He has the best quarterback he's ever had. He didn't have Russell Wilson for half the year. Yeah. Him, I still believe in Hunter Henry because the Patriots will figure something out there. And yeah, that's where I'd go.
Yes, I agree. He looks like a wide receiver.
Yeah, it's great, and he's always had that skill set, just health and quarterback play. But let's get to someone that everyone faded. Every single person faded in fantasy football, like analysts more than anything, and that is CMC 2.0 in Antonio Gibson. Listen to these stats.
It took 14, a guy to get shot for that. But.
Yeah, for real. Jesus. It's about a baker dozen there, Bob. What do I do with Dak? We'll throw him on the IR. Look for other streamers. Wentz could be an option. Davis Mills. Daniel Jones looked better than a lot of people thought he was going to look this week. Because, knock on wood, Saquon is back. But we'll get to that in a little bit. I just want to touch on, let's answer this too. Waited in my draft and got stuck with Njoku. I understand that. Keep Njoku. Don't fade him because, look, you got to wait 11 weeks. But if you can make it to the playoffs, Amari Cooper, Kareem Hunt, and David Njoku will all be 15-plus fantasy points.
Balling with Watson.
Yeah.
Balling. And
absolutely.
Njoku, and he's not too bad. It's the first week. Or should I trade him with Schultz?
Sorry. Is Godwin okay? No. It's that hammy. It's that moon's over my hammy, and we're not talking about Darnell Mooney. Thank you, Lady Shotcaller, for that one. And we
need that. Like our sound effects.
They're all natural. So Godwin, hamstring. CMC, hamstring. Julio Jones, hamstring. What do all 3 of those have in common? Derailing careers.
Yes.
Lingerer. Fucking lingerer. It's a lingerer, man.
Horrible injury.
Should I trade him with Schultz? Yeah, if you can unload him. But, if you can package him and Schultz for a top 5 tight end, because that's what Schultz will be this year.
I keep Schultz. I would keep Schultz. Schultz is still going to put up numbers. He's good.
So we just answered that one. Marcus Mariota, a solid pickup. Yes and no. He
over him.
Yeah, just because I personally like his weapons a little better, but Cordell Patterson will be running the ball a lot more if they want to win some games. But we got a lot of games to go through, so let's get through this Commanders. So Antonio Gibson, they were talking about a couple of weeks ago or years ago when after year 1 that he was looking like the next CMC, right? Listen to these stats: 14 carries, 58 yards, nothing to bring home, right? 7 receptions for 72 yards. Man scored 20 points without a touchdown. Who does that? Christian McCaffrey. And with Scary Terry, only 2 receptions, 58 yards. He did pull in a TD, a little biscuit there. But my potential number 1 waiver wire, listen carefully because you're getting it early. I unfortunately traded away for KJ Osborne in a dumb trade, which I knew I shouldn't have done, but I just love KJ Osborne so much this year. Curtis Samuel, he runs the ball. He receives the ball. If he stays healthy, he's a top 20 wide receiver. Easy.
And he was a touchdown today.
Yeah. So 8 receptions, 55 yards, a touchdown. He had 4 carries for 17 yards. The 17 yards isn't really anything to talk about, but the 4 carries are because he's getting a chance. J.D. McKissick, 3 carries. So that that offense, if everyone can stay healthy, it shouldn't be too bad. Carson Wentz over 300 yards, throwing 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Jaguars, on the other hand, Trevor Lawrence, wow, T-Law actually threw for over 200 yards.
Yes.
Who would have thought?
Yes.
275, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. James Robinson, 10th, 11th round, 20 points. Another one.
Shocked me. And it helped that ETN was dropping balls left and right. So
oh, my gosh. And getting hit stick after hit stick after hit stick.
Holy shit. Yes.
Christian Kirk, 6 receptions, 117 yards. Everything you drafted him for, except for that touchdown. Zay Jones, 6 receptions, 65 yards. Marvin Jones, 4 for 38. Evan Ingram, whatever. Mr. Butterfingers in the house. And Travis Etienne needs a little polishing.
Yes, he does. It looked like he was playing a preseason game.
Yeah. It was not too great. Let's see. Before
we step to another game, Washington's offense is the same offense that drafted Christian McCaffrey. Just saying.
Yeah.
They have the same offensive coordinator, the same
head coach. And so we'll see. It may actually finally come true, because this is the kind of Deebo Samuel kind of like draft capital you're getting here with Antonio Gibson.
Gibson.
Leonard Fournette last year, same draft capital.
Yeah.
Godwin and Kamara, trade them or keep Kamara with Jay Taylor's and Fournette.
You have Kamara, Jonathan Taylor, and Fournette. Holy shit!
I think you can just drop.
I'm sorry. I remember you this morning.
Go for it.
You're looking to trade shop Kamara. I told you this morning I'm not a Kamara fan. I think he's going to go for a downfall this year. But you also don't want to, like Shotcaller said, you don't want to make trades just to make trades and get screwed. You want to get value. It depends who it's for. It depends who it's for.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
The guy has Prescott. He wants Tom Brady from me. I have Josh Allen. Trade Brady for Knox or Hawkinson. He also has Lamb, Deontay, Javonte, or Jamal. I don't know which one. Breece Hall, Cooper. He wants Brady and Godwin. I mean, throw Brady and Godwin in there, and if that's Javonte Williams and Deontay Johnson, get them at the low point.
If you could do Godwin and Kamara for Javonte Williams and Deontay Johnson, I'd do that.
Yeah, me too. Let's see. He traded Kelsey for Kamara, and I think I remember that we were talking about that a little bit. But let's get into a game where the Steelers had over 20 points in the first quarter. The defense had over 20 points in the first quarter.
I bet you they trade those 20 points to get Watt back on the field.
Yeah. 100%.
Sucks. Watt's a great player. That's a tough loss.
Elijah Mitchell, James Cook, and a second for Dotson and a 6th is what I got offered. No way. Tell him to kick rocks.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade James Cook straight up for Dotson.
Yeah, tell him to kick rocks and put on socks, because we don't fuck around here.
I have Dotson.
No.
Wait, he has Dotson. Check that again. He's the one who has Dotson. Wait, I have Dotson, 2 keeper is what I got offered. Other one is Mitchell Cook and second for Dotson and ET.
Oh,
wait a minute. Time out. If you're getting Elijah Mitchell, James Cook, and a second for Dotson and a 6th, I would take whoever's getting Elijah Mitchell, James Cook, and a second.
They're the winner.
Deal.
Yeah. 150,000%.
And I wouldn't feel guilty. I wouldn't feel nervous. I'd sleep pretty after getting those 3 for Dotson and a 6th. One easy.
We might as well put more chocolate syrup on your face, and then you'll sleep even better, because with that trade.
Yeah, no. If I got James Cook, Elijah Mitchell, and a second for Jahan Dotson, and I'm a Commander. I'm a Commander fan. Oh my God!
There it is.
I'm gonna pop more cherries on that one.
Oh, baby girl.
You are popping cherries on that tree. Holy shit.
Steelers Bengals. It was one of the big games where it was a great game. Mitch Trubisky under 200 yards. He did throw for a touchdown. Najee limped off the field in the fourth quarter, but Craze from Craze's Corner, NFL Craze, go follow him on Instagram. Fastest NFL news. I don't know where he gets it, but Najee's going to be okay. He's looking to play week 2. We don't know what's going to happen yet, but we'll see. Chase Claypool ended up being the had the most carries next to him. Pat Freiermuth, 5 receptions, 75 yards. He's looking like that Jesse James. What's his name? Not Hayden Hurst. Why am I blanking on his? Heath Miller, kind of like in the process of becoming the next. And then Deontay Johnson, 7 receptions, 55 yards. The 7 receptions speak more than 55 yards because they're feeding him the ball still. They're still feeding him. So we can fade the idea that he's not getting the ball anymore because that obviously didn't happen.
And I want to go back to Fantasy Football Craze with Fantasy Football News. He sends out news faster than Chinese food gets to your house. They're like, I mean, you order Chinese food, you're like, hey, I like a General You're like, here's your General Tso's chicken. You're like, what the fuck just happened? How did you even know that? Here's your pork fried rice. You're like, what's going on? I also wanted, steamed dumplings. You're like, holy shit.
Could I have some?
Yeah.
How is it already in my mouth?
Yeah, how do you guys know this so quickly?
They're just feeding us. So the Steelers ended up winning by 3 on Craig Boswell's last second before tied field goal. But the Bengals, Joe Burrow somehow scored over 20 points with 4 interceptions, 338 yards, 2 touchdowns, 47 yards on the ground. But the two first rounders, Joe Mixon, 27 carries, 82 yards, 7 receptions, 63 yards, no touchdowns, but that's amazing. And then let's see, where is he? And Jamar Chase, 10 receptions, 129 yards, 1 touchdown. He left off, or he picked it up right where he left off.
Yeah.
And my sleeper tight end of the year, Hayden Hurst, 5 receptions, 46 yards, bitches.
Is he a pickup? That might be a pickup. That's a tight end pickup.
Especially if what's his name? T. Higgins is out. Yeah. The guy has Javonte Williams, Etienne, CD, Hawkinson, Deontay Johnson, Breece Hall, Cooper. He wants Brady, Godwin, and Kamara. What packages you guys think is good? I have Sutton and Melvin Gordon already to get Jay Will. Okay. So throw in, if you want Javonte Williams, throw in Melvin Gordon. Because he will be getting a better back than Gordon with Kamara. And then try to get Deontay Johnson for Godwin because you'll be getting a better wide receiver with health-wise. And, they're feeding him like I just talked about. And then also, I mean, if you can get by with your wide receivers until what's his face? Deshaun Watson comes back, grab Amari Cooper.
That's so you have Brady's his backup, right? He says he has Josh Allen.
Yeah.
So Brady is really like you're just throwing him in there, and you could just to grab who you want. You could. I like Javonte Williams better than Kamara. Mm-hmm. I like Deontay Johnson better than Godwin. So if you could get those 2 guys and something else, whatever you want, go for it. Be confident.
Yeah. 100%. And then, so let's see, going forward. A great fantasy game, for the Bengals. Fantasy wise, they picked up where they left off. Let's see who is next. We have got 1 out of the 2 toilet bowls of the week. And the first one is the Patriots and Dolphins. Patriots only scored 7 points. Dolphins scored 20. Mac Jones, 213 yards, 1 touchdown. He looked sharp, but he missed clutch passes.
Yeah, but Waddle got a touchdown.
Yeah. Jacoby Myers won another game without a touchdown. We won't see that until Deshaun Watson gets back. Let's see. Ramondre, Damian, still don't know who's going to take lead in that backfield. It's going to go week to week. And then everyone else, it's kind of just a shot in the dark. Jonnu Smith went down with an injury late. But yeah, I mean, take it away for a second. I got to go get my charger real quick.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you also have Jonnu Smith going down. The Miami Dolphins, you have Waddle giving the score. Kind of a boring game, but I'm going back to this trade is so much going on. The guy, I'm very high on Javonte Williams this year. Melvin Gordon's got to back off. I'm fading the Saints. Go very, very quickly as it's on my head. You don't need Brady because you have Josh Allen. Trade Godwin, who's hurt, Kamara for Javonte Williams, DeAndre Johnson, and if some reason, because you're giving up Brady, you could squeeze Breece Hall. I don't know what your league's like. I don't know who you could rip off, but, ask for it. See what he says.
Yeah. And again, hit that like. It goes further than you think. Hit that subscribe. We're here every Sunday. We're eating Sundays. Wishlist has granted me his presence for this Sunday. We're dedicated to this. We got rotating guests, and Fantasy's life. It's a vibe. So we're here all the time. And so going to the more, let's see. The more fantasy relevant side, we got Tua thrown for 270 and a touchdown. Chase Edmonds, 12 carries, 25 yards. Let's see. Tyreek Hill, 8 receptions, 94 yards. So he had 17 points from a second and third rounder. I guess that's all right.
There's nobody on these teams that I'd actually want.
Yeah.
I mean, I want Stevenson on my bench just for hope. But I kind of avoid Patriots running backs. You don't know what they're going to do. They got skills, but Belichick's just going to ruin your life.
Yeah. So sorry, my wide receiver room is crap after this. So he offered Mitchell, Cook, George Pickens, and a second for Dotson, Etienne, and a 6. Still accept. Cook, which Cook?
I think James.
Is it James?
He offered Elijah Mitchell, who's hurt. James Cook, who's a backup. George Pickens, who is a fleer. Pickens and Dotson are in the same boat. And you're giving up Etienne now? I'm not giving up Etienne.
No, not at all.
No, hold on to Etienne, my man.
Yeah. And then he just offered me Javonte Williams, CeeDee Lamb, Cooper for Kamara, Brady, and Godwin. Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, isn't that what we literally just said?
Yeah, so Javonte Williams over Kamara, I'm cool with that. CeeDee Lamb over Godwin, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Cooper for your backup quarterback?
Yeah. Smash it.
Hell yeah. Yes, do thumbs up.
Yeah.
I
like. Trey Lance looked horrible, or was it the weather? It was both.
Both.
No need to worry or be worried about the 49ers. It's week 1. We'll revisit that.
Week 1, and honestly, the 49ers and Chargers are my Super Bowl pick. So
wow. All right.
Relax.
Bold relaxation with wish list.
Yes.
Welcome to meditation with what the fuck are you doing?
Stupid pick. Stupid. You're an idiot.
If you can last through this meditation with me screaming at you, you're going to have serenity.
If you watched any of my videos, you can't meditate.
All right. So Jalen Waddle had a touchdown, 69 yards, 4 receptions. So, I mean, basically him and Tyreek are going split for split. We don't know what's going on with the backfield in Miami, so stay clear of that. Moving on, though. We have got, and keep these questions coming. We got until 10, so we got 20 minutes. We're gonna try to bang out. Let's see, 8 more of these. So we're gonna go rapid fire real quick.
But they just cut us off after an hour. You didn't pay your dues. What's going on?
I owe some people money about a little money or something. Okay, forgot about it. Jacoby Brissett. Under 150 yards through the air, 1 touchdown. Nick Chubb, purest runner there is in the NFL right now. 22 carries, 141 yards, averaged 6.4 yards per carry. Kareem Hunt did his mother-loving thing and had about 22 points of fantasy, 11 carries, 46 yards at TD, 4 receptions, 24 yards at TD. DPJ, 6 receptions, 60 yards. But I think I wouldn't fade Amari Cooper too much. He's on a new team. Donovan's Peoples-Jones knows Stefanski's playbook. And Amari Cooper just got to learn a little bit. Learn a thing or two about a thing or two.
Nick Chubb is the best, most boring player in the league.
Yes.
He's the most boring pick you could make, but he's the best boring pick you could make.
100%. And so the artist formerly known as Jacoby Brissett, Baker Mayfield, 235 yards, a touchdown, and interception. He really tried to will the Panthers to victory. But I think the recipe for disaster with Christian McCaffrey is that he has to score a touchdown to get under 20 points in fantasy. And that's what he did today. 10 carries, 33 yards, only averaged 3.3 yards per carry. Is that worrisome? Maybe a little bit, but that's why I didn't draft him second overall.
Talking about.
But yeah. DJ Moore had a carry. Baker Mayfield had some. Deontay Foreman had some. Chuba Hubbard had one. Robbie Anderson, 5 receptions, 102 yards, 1 touchdown. This could be the Sammy Watkins effect where he just balls out week 1 and then nothing the rest of the season. DJ Moore disappointed. Ian Thomas, though, 2 receptions, 53 yards. So big playability there out of the tight end position. Christian McCaffrey is usually the highest on the wide receiver poll or receptions list on the Panthers, but he only finished 4 for 24.
What was DJ Moore's stat line?
3 receptions, 43 yards. Yeah. It was a tough first half. I'll just say that much for the Panthers. All right. Next games, we've got a black tie event, and that's the Colts versus the Texans. They're tied. They are tied.
You know what's annoying? I wanted to bet the Texans +8 so bad, but I had so much money on the line already that I pussed out. And of course, they hit tie game. They didn't lose.
And I want to look up the stat, but has divisional teams playing each other, and then the other 2 teams in the same division, no one has a win in the AFC South right now.
Dude, Jonathan Taylor looked like himself, though.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit. I don't know if you're going to go over the lines, but yeah, Jonathan Taylor looked like a number 1 running back again.
I mean, Matt Ryan, it's
Garbage.
like, I mean, 350 yards through the air.
I'm joking.
Oh, okay.
I'm joking.
That was good. You got me. You got me.
Yes.
And so listen, 32 for 50, right? You know, that's a bit over 500. But this is the more important line, is that with those 33 pass completions, Jonathan Taylor carried it 31 times.
How many times do they have the ball?
Exactly. And 161 yards for Jonathan Taylor, first touchdown. He's already paid you for where you drafted him in week 1. Michael Pittman Jr. already paid off, drafting him in round 3 or 4 for right now. But we'll see what happens going forward. Nyheim Hines had a Tony Pollard-esque type of day, 6 receptions, 50 yards as the backup. And then a bunch of no names. Jonathan Taylor, 4 receptions, 14 yards. Look at that.
What was Pittman's stat line?
9, 121, and 1.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah, that's 27 points there, Bob.
How are you, Bob?
Davis Mills, 240, 2 touchdowns. Rex Burkhead was the leading rusher for the Texans. What do we take on this?
That surprised me. This old son of a bitch is not leaving. Again, I didn't watch the game, so I don't know why. Was it like an Akers and Darrell Henderson thing where you're like, why is Darrell Henderson on the field? I don't know if it was that, but I did I kept up with the stats and I said, how's Rex Burkhead out playing Pierce? I was big on Pierce today, and I faltered on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Dameon Pierce. Just, I mean, that Colts front four is pretty damn tough.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's a rookie. You can only do what you're gonna do with that.
Right.
And a mid-round drafted rookie at that.
Yes.
Brandon Cooks did the safe floor thing, 7 receptions, 82 yards, exactly what you paid for him.
Brandon Cooks is the Nick
of wide receivers, yeah.
Chubb of wide receivers.
Yeah, 100%. OJ Howard, 2 receptions, 38 yards, 2 TDs. You may look at him on the waiver wire this week. Let's see. And then Rex Burkhead had 5 catches for 30 yards. Wow. They really liked him.
He does that. If he's still on the waiver wire, it's always good to have running backs.
Yeah, that's a fact. Moving on to Saints Falcons. Winston with his crazy eyes in the huddle all the time. I bet those other Saints players are like,
this is a W.
Yo, put down the Pookie, please. Put down the Pookie, all right? Jameis Winston, 269 yards, 2 TDs. And what do you know? We'll get to him in a second, but and remember, you got to do your research on these fantasy killers because they're out there. And the first one goes by the name of Taysom Hill.
Oh, my God.
4 carries, 81 yards, and a touchdown, while Kamara had 9 carries and 39 yards, no TDs.
Kamara is finished without Drew Brees.
Damn.
I'm all sticky.
Me too. I don't know where to put my hands. Let's see, where is he? Michael Thomas, 5 receptions, 57 yards, 2 TDs, but the one targeted the most, Jarvis Landry. 7 receptions, 114 yards. You sprinkle a TD in there, shit. Bake me off at 400 and call me for dinner, baby.
Jarvis Landry looks like the old. Oh my God, he played for the Dolphins.
And it didn't even take him 7 weeks to get ready for it, like usual.
Yes. Holy shit.
All righty. Well, I'm glad I broke that up a little bit because welcome to the next toilet bowl of the week, and that's the Baltimore Ravens versus the New York Jets. Lamar Jackson, 213 yards through the air, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Kenyon Drake, the fantasy killer, 11 carries, 31 yards. Lamar didn't run. He just didn't run at all. 6 carries, 17 yards compared to what he usually does. But he still scored you over 20 points in fantasy. Crazy.
I have to ask, was Bateman's touchdown against Sauce Gardner?
I plead the 5th. I don't know.
Yeah. I saw it was kind of like in a zone. I wasn't sure if he was supposed to guard him. I'm like,
well, it was blown coverage nonetheless.
Yes.
Rashad Bateman did have the high on yardage, but only 2 receptions, 59 yards, 1 touchdown. Sauce Gardner was shadowing Mark Andrews for most of the night too.
Okay.
Because they're basically like Mark Andrews is this tall and Sauce is like this tall. It's crazy. And Mark Andrews ain't no little boy.
No.
Let's see. So Rashad Bateman, 2 receptions, 59 yards, and a touchdown. Devin Duvernay is the star of today's game. 4 receptions, 54 yards, 2 touchdowns. But don't come at me with all this smoke because calm your tits, lower your expectations. They're playing a Jets team that was this is the first time they've ever played a game together, assimilated as a full front. And Rashad Bateman is much more talented than Devin Duvernay.
Thank you. Yes, Duvernay played well. He did show some flashes last year, but like you said, Bateman's the dude. Jets were focused on Andrews and Bateman. They didn't have a running game, so they were allowed to focus on Bateman and Andrews, leaving Duvernay open. So
yeah. Joe Flacco, somehow threw for over 300 yards. A touchdown.
Was this combined? Was this combined game?
Yeah, right. From last year, his last game he played last year. Actually, no, they took his stats from the last Raven game he played and combined them with his stats. He had a touchdown. He had a bad interception. Michael Carter, lead back. No one wanted to believe it, but that's okay. No one wanted to talk to the guy who lives, dies, breathes, poops New York Jets football. Now,
though
I'm talking about Rich Kamini, not me.
Like I live in the New York area. I get the Jets on TV, but of course I was on Red Zone all day. Did you watch the Jet game?
Oh yeah.
I have to ask you though, was it a split back or was it Michael Carter's backfield?
It was Michael Carter's backfield.
Oh shit.
Breece Hall, I'll just look at the stats here. 6 carries, 23 yards. He had 6 receptions though for 38 yards. Michael Carter had 7 receptions for 40.
Oh,
and
wow.
He had 10 carries for 60 yards. Michael Carter looked explosive.
Oh, shit.
But, the matter of the fact is that both Breece Hall and Michael Carter dropped the key passes. Corey Davis needs trade Corey Davis for Robert Woods. He needs to go back to Tennessee and all these drop passes. And, he dropped a big 3rd down conversion, which I was pretty upset about. And then he makes these like acrobatic leaping grabs over like 7-foot troll monsters. And so I don't get it. They need to play Garrett Wilson more. He's a highlight reel waiting to happen. Elijah Moore, they didn't pepper him with targets for whatever reason. He had a touchdown, but they called it back because of offensive passing interference. It was a little iffy, but they couldn't show the replay because Kyle Fuller got his knee twisted in ways that would make your butthole pucker. So they literally said, we can't show this replay, which I was a little upset about because I just wanted to see if he actually pushed off. So conspiracy, maybe.
Possibly.
Let's see. So another tight end, maybe you want to stream, even though he had some drop passes, he was getting into the passing game. Tyler Conklin, 4 receptions, 14 yards, but he did score. He had the lone touchdown for the Jets. And yeah, I mean, that's basically it. Expect more out of Elijah Moore. Get it? Garrett Wilson, hopefully he gets involved more. And Corey Davis, he's going to keep doing just the Corey Davis things and forever be a wide receiver too. Just kind of like Eric Decker. But Eric Decker actually caught the ball.
Eric Decker was good.
Yeah. Corey Davis is not.
Yes.
Let's see. Moving right along. We just got a couple more games to cover. I think we can fit them all in. Aaron Rodgers picked up where he left off in week 1 of last year with throwing interceptions under 200 yards and leaving it to Jordan Love to pick up the pieces. Aaron Jones, 5 carries, 49 yards, while he had 3 receptions, 27 yards. AJ Dillon balled, but remember they were going to lose, so they just had him in the just to warm him up.
That game scared me, actually. Aaron Rodgers trying to find a receiver this year could be more trouble than we think.
Obviously, Alan Lazard, the most familiar receiver he is, or the most was out. He's shit on these receivers. He's praised these receivers. I'm convinced Aaron Rodgers is bipolar, but he just screams Brett Favre at the end of his career. So maybe you'll see Aaron Rodgers in a Jets uniform next year. But the real story here is Kirk Cousins, 277 yards, 2 TDs, but it's not Kirk Cousins.
No, Justin.
It's Justin Jefferson.
That guy is ridiculous. He is ridiculous. If he doesn't get hurt, he's headed for his Hall of Fame career.
Yeah. And he had better stats than Cooper Kupp today, and he had all of his yardage in the first half, basically.
Everyone knows he's going to get the ball and he gets open.
Yeah. Dalvin Cook, 20 carries, 90 yards. Thielen, and then everyone else kind of was inconsequential. So that kind of does it for that game. Division loss kind of hurts a little more than last year's week 1 loss to the Saints. So we'll just see how things roll out, but never count out the 2-time MVP or 3-time MVP in AA Ron Rodgers. Upset of the week. Upset of the week. The sloppiest of the upsets. Wow, 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 wow. The New York Football Giants beat the Tennessee Titans on a last-second field goal. Man, botched. Absolute. So many field goals missed today. Ridiculous, donkulous. Put it in your sock hole and call it rhinoceros. Daniel Jones, 188 yards, 2 touchdowns. On the ground, he had 6 carries, 25 yards. I don't think anyone else did really well on the ground rushing in this one.
Barkley looked explosive.
It was a joke wish list. Jesus. I have Barkley in like 10 or 11.
I got you. You got me. Dude,
perfect.
Barkley looked explosive.
So explosive. 18 carries, 164 yards. He single-handedly won them the game, won me fantasy games, kept me in the game in some leagues. I have him in 10 out of my 12 leagues.
Think about it. You have a game with Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley, and I give you that stat line, people would just jump right to Derrick Henry.
Oh, 100%. And so, speaking of Derrick Henry, 21 carries, 82 yards, no touchdowns. Did he get involved in the passing game? No, but you know who did? Dontrell Hilliard.
Yes. He's available.
3 receptions, 61 yards, booty butt cheeks there. Treylon Burks, though, looked good. 3 receptions, 55 yards. Kyle Phillips, 6 receptions, 66 yards. Almost single-handedly threw the game for the Titans by dropping a punt return. But he picked it up because he literally had like 4 receptions on the last drive to help them score. And let's see. I think everyone else is kind of, Robert Woods did not have a game.
He had a great catch, Phillips, to get him in field goal range for the win.
Mm-hmm. Oh. And I think it's in 6 or 7 years, the Giants have not had a receiving and a rushing play for over 60 yards, and they had that today. Sterling Shepard had 2 receptions, 71 yards, and a touchdown, but one of them was like a 65-yarder for the touchdown. Richie James, 5 receptions, 59 yards. He took place for Wan'Dale Robinson. So I'm not saying go and get Rick James because I'm not Rick James, bitch. But just look at Wan'Dale Robinson when he comes back because he's going to fill in there, and it looks like Daniel Jones likes throwing it to the slot because it's the easiest.
Yeah.
Kenny Golladay actually caught the ball. Holy shit.
He plays still. Kadarius Toney shows he's very skillful, and their Giants coach had balls of steel going for it too. Yeah.
Kadarius Toney shows he's very skillful by not catching a single ball, but he wasn't targeted either. He did, though, rush it twice for 23 yards, and one of them he was going to throw it, but the coverage was well, and he turned a -5 yardage into like almost 10-yard gain.
That's what I saw, and I'm like, and that's what I meant by skillful. How do you not get the ball in that guy's hands?
Yeah,
but go on.
It's crazy. Next is a game that a lot of people go back and forth about because we've got a lot of Chargers and Raiders fans in our fantasy community.
Yes.
Derek Carr, 295, 2 touchdowns, 3 INTs. Devontae Adams attempted a pass, or at least they have him listed here as a quarterback. Josh Jacobs, 10 carries, 57 yards. Devontae, it's like he doesn't need it. Aaron Rodgers, 10 receptions, 141 yards, 1 TD. He is that dude.
Well, that's because Derek Carr impregnated Devontae Adams by eye-fucking him the entire game. I mean, literally just eyed him the entire game. Devontae Adams is going to have a baby in 9 months.
Mm-hmm. And then Darren Waller, 4 receptions, 79 yards. Hunter Renfrow kind of laid a goose egg, but I don't fret too much. Just get through it.
Yep.
Herbie Hancock himself was playing a little piano, 279 for 3 touchdowns. I mean, his passer rating is super high. I mean, 26 completions on 34 attempts. Austin Eckler is a shell of himself today. Keenan Allen went down with an injury. DeAndre Carter, he was on the Commanders, right?
Yes, he was.
3 receptions, 64 yards, a TD. That was like, don't read into too much to that. In my opinion, Gerald Everett, 3 receptions, 54 yards, and a touchdown. Read into that shit though.
Yes.
And what you also should read into is hitting that like, hitting that subscribe, because we do this for you. Do it.
Please.
Come on.
Please.
Come on. Mike Williams, I told y'all he could bust. He's not in a contract year anymore. 2 receptions, 10 yards. It is only week 1, so we'll just keep it pushing.
Keenan Allen, hamstring.
Hamstring.
Palmer. Some reason Josh Palmer is on the waiver wire. You better scoop him up.
Scoop him like that ice cream that's on Wishlist's face. Yeah. The blowout of the day, though, we all thought it was going to be a high-scoring game, but not a blowout. Chiefs, Cardinals, 44-21. Yeah, Mahomes had 360 yards, 5 touchdowns. For some reason, Clyde Edwards-Helaire decided to like have a game today. But this is what the Chiefs do. Okay. Don't get too high on this, because the Chiefs will score a collective 30 points for you one game and then 10 the next. So that's, the Chiefs will probably win that game too when they score you 10 points for fantasy, but that's just how they roll. Travis Kelce, I mean, he's just maybe will go down as one of the best tight ends ever. I mean, one of them he will definitely go down as, but maybe the GOAT. 8 receptions, 121 yards, 1 touchdown. That man is like 33, 34 years old. Juju, 6 for 79. Scantling, so like he really spread the ball around.
What's Scantling?
And Scantling, 4 receptions for 44 yards, but he was just missing that big ball. Yeah,
that's all right. Mahomes basically is just giving everyone the finger, going, I don't need Tyreek Hill. We'll dominate without.
Exactly. Kyler Murray, 22 for 34, 193 yards, 2 touchdowns, really missing DeAndre Hopkins, and maybe even missing Chase Edmonds a little bit, because he doesn't have that leak out running back. James Conner averaged 2.6 yards per carry, 10 carries, 26 yards, and a touchdown. Maybe it showed that, that duo worked, and James Conner just reaped all the benefits from everyone else's hard work.
How did Benjamin do?
Let's see, 4 carries for 28 yards. So he averaged 7 yards per carry.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Who should we replace for Dak? Like we said, Mills or Wentz.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe even you may want to take a stab at Daniel Jones, because of that rushing upside.
If somebody didn't draft Deshaun Watson, let him sit on your IR. You can't do an IR, but pick up Deshaun Watson. He'll help you.
Yeah, but if your IR contains a bed, put him on the bench.
Yeah.
Can't trust Deshaun Watson on a bed.
I go, no, I definitely.
God damn it, that took you a while.
It took me, dude. That was too late. It's late for me. It's almost
I know.
1 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast, so I need more coffee. No, I would go Wentz and Mills. If there's get extra cloth for that bed.
Yeah,
and a lot of tissue.
Last game of the night, unfortunately, we just touched on the whole Dak thing. Tampa Bay beat the Dallas Cowboys in the the Dallas Cowboys had no run defense. Leonard Fournette, 21 carries, 127 yards. Cheeseburger Eddie took no effect to those extra poundage he gained, because it was all hype. But the war of field goals, the Ryan Suckup won. Ryan Suckup beat Bill Maher, and Ryan Gumble of Real Sports, and beat the Cowboys 19-3.
Everybody on Dallas disappointed, and except for Fournette on Tampa. I mean, Mike Evans got that last-minute touchdown or whatever at the end with Tom Brady, but Fournette shined. Fournette looked good.
And for DFS purposes, or even if you needed a late streamer, Julio Jones, 3 receptions, 69 yards, two carries for 17 yards. If he stays healthy, that could be scary.
And he was targeted a lot. He was
targeted a lot.
Targeted a lot. So he was looking his way.
He missed a Julio Jones catch by like this much at the 2-yard line.
He was trying to hit. And with Godwin out, Julio Jones stock up.
Yeah.
To answer this question, Trey Lance, definitely startable. Don't go by today's game. Yeah. Let him play in good weather too. Trey Lance is definitely startable.
Mm-hmm. I'm not super high on Trey Lance, but if you drafted him as your QB1, you kind of just got to stick it out and suck it up. And this is the last time we'll say it before we end this. We're not ending just yet, but hit that like, hit that subscribe. Fantasy is life. You know it's a vibe.
Please do. Please do.
Mike Evans, 5 receptions, 71 yards, and a TD. Mr. Consistent strikes again. Chris Godwin, hammy injury.
Yeah.
Fade him. His career is derailed.
Done. It's done. Godwin had that 1 year, 2 years ago. Yeah. It's over.
Zeke,
sorry to cut you off. Trey Lance is this year's Jalen Hurts. Go on. Sorry about that.
Wow. All right. So it'll take him a little time to warm up.
One game.
Dak got hurt. We all know that. Should be out a few weeks. Cooper Rush is the starting quarterback there. So super flex, you want to go grab him. And what?
Cooper Rush. I did that.
Yeah, don't rush to the waiver wire, but get there as soon as you can. Zeke looked pretty good though against a really good Tampa Bay front four.
Yeah.
10 carries, 52 yards, average 5.2 carries per. Tony Pollard did have 6 carries, 8 yards, didn't really seem like a factor. And then CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
But he should do well with a quarterback that a quarterback he's gonna get to him. He's gonna get to him. I didn't draft him in any of my leagues because he doesn't deserve to be drafted in the second round. He hasn't proven anything. But Dalton Schultz, check down machine, 7 receptions. I think he was targeted 10 times, 62 yards. No one scored a touchdown, obviously, but you sprinkle a touchdown in there. I mean, that's top 5 tight end numbers right there.
I love them.
Yeah, I mean, everything else is kind of like mishmash, posh, blosh, but overall, a great day of football. Sloppy, not sloppy. Flojo says, but Trey, have you forsaken me, Trey?
I'm on the Trey train. I'm Trey Lance all the way. Definitely this year's Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. Well,
so that's it.
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying Trey Lance, you're going to expect him, say he throws for 200 yards, 50 yards rushing, and you just add some touchdowns in there.
100%.
That's what you expect.
Yeah. I mean, we went over the Jalen Hurts stat line, and that was, I mean, it was great. He could have had more. I mean, but that run heavy goal line bullshit that they pull in Philly he should have had more touchdowns than he did.
Well, Kyle Shanahan's going to do that whole RG3 with now that Elijah Mitchell's out.
Mm-hmm.
Trey Lance is going to do a lot of play actions, rollouts, dump offs to when Kittle's playing. That's going to open things up. So by Trey, yes, I agree with Flojo.
And this is the last time I'll say it. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. You know what it is. Fantasy is life. Thank you so much for tuning in to week 1 of Sloppy Sundays. We'll get extra sloppier next week. It's gonna live up to this one. Thank you so much, Wishlist, for joining me in week 1. Y'all know what it is. Fantasy is life. You know it's a vibe. Hit that follow if you don't mind, and just keep it pushing. Let's get a great year under the belt. And thanks for viewing.